back so soon. I'm taking a well-needed break, I'm sure. Sorry, you got all of the badges. Well, you must have a fairly strong team to show for it. One of my favourites. Good choice. He looks strong and loyal. A little tired, though. Here, pass me your Pokemon. I'll give them a good rest. There we go. Much better. So, whilst you're away, you must have come up with some tales and stories to tell me. Strange encounters and whatnot. An egg? I wouldn't know much about that. But I have a friend in Johto who might be able to help you. It wouldn't be a boat trip or magna train away, but I'm sure he'll be able to help. And if you're on your way, I've got an update for your Pokedex as well. Quite opportune you come in now. Here, hand me your Pokedex and I'll update it for you. Here. Feel free to rest. I say, study the Pokedex, get to grips on the new Pokemon in there. I've got some stuff to take care of. I've got a couple Magikarp over there. I've got to figure out why they're gold. Chikorita, grass type. A sweet aroma gently wafts from the leaf on its head. It is docile and loves to soak up the sun's rays. Its pleasantly aromatic leaves have the ability to check the humidity and temperature. Bayleaf, grass type. The scent of spices come from around its neck. Somehow, sniffing it makes you want to fight. A spicy aroma emanates from around its neck. The aroma acts as a stimulant to restore health. Meganium, grass type. The aroma that rises from its petals contains a substance that calms aggressive feelings. Meganium's breath has the power to revive dead plants and grass. It can make them healthy again. Cyndaquil, fire type. It is timid and always curls itself up into a ball. If attacked, it flares up its back for protection. It usually stays hunched over. If it is angry or surprised, it shoots flames out of its back. Quilava, fire type. Be careful if it turns its back during battle. It means that it will attack with the fire on its back. This Pokemon is fully covered by non-flammable fur. It can withstand any kind of fire attack. Typhlosion, fire type. If its rage peaks, it can become so hot that anything it touches will instantly go up in flames. It has a secret, devastating move. It rubs its blazing fur together to cause huge explosions. Totodile, water type. Its well-developed jaws are powerful and capable of crushing anything. Even its trainer must be careful. It is small but rough and tough. It won't hesitate to take a bite out of anything that moves. Croconaw, water type. If it loses
loses a fang, a new one grows back in its place. There are always 48 fangs lining its mouth. It opens its huge jaws wide when attacking. If it loses any fangs while biting, they grow back in. For alligator, water type. When it bites with its massive and powerful jaws, it shakes its head and savagely tears its victim up. It is hard for it to support its own weight out of water, so it gets down on all fours, but it moves fast. Sentret, normal type. A very cautious Pokemon. It raises itself up using its tail to get a better view of its surroundings. It stands on its tail so it can see a long way. If it spots an enemy, it cries loudly to warn its kind. Furret, normal type. It makes a nest to suit its long and skinny body. The nest is impossible for other Pokemon to enter. There is no telling where its tail begins. Despite its short legs, it is quick at hunting Rattata. Hoot, normal flying type. It always stands on one foot. It changes feet so fast, the movement can rarely be seen. It has a perfect sense of time. Whatever happens, it keeps rhythm by precisely tilting its head in time. Noctowl, normal flying type. Its eyes are specially adapted. They concentrate even faint light and enable it to see in the dark. When it needs to think, it rotates its head 180 degrees to sharpen its intellectual power. Ladybug, bug flying type. It is very timid. It will be afraid to move if it is alone, but it will be active if it is in a group. When the weather turns cold, lots of ladybug gather from everywhere to cluster and keep each other warm. Ledian, bug flying type. When the stars flicker in the night sky, it flutters about, scattering a glowing powder. The star patterns on its back grow larger or smaller, depending on the number of stars in the night sky. Spinnerack, bug poison type. It lies still in the same pose for days in its web, waiting for its unsuspecting prey to wander close. It spins a web using fine but durable thread. It then waits patiently for prey to be trapped. Ariados, bug poison type. It spins string not only from its rear but also from its mouth. It is hard to tell which end is which. A single strand of a special string is endlessly spun out of its rear. The string leads back to its nest. Crobat, poison flying type. It flies so silently through the dark on its four wings that it may not even be noticed when nearby. The development of its wings on its legs enables it to fly fast, but also makes it tough to stop and rest. a single gulp. Pichu, electric type. It is not yet skilled at storing electricity. It may send out a jolt if amused or startled. Despite its small size, it can zap even adult humans. However, if it does so, it also surprises itself. Clever, fairy type. Because of its unusual star-like silhouette, people believe that it came here on a meteor. When numerous meteors illuminate the night sky, sightings of Clever strangely increase. Igglybuff, normal fairy type. It has a very soft body. If it starts to roll, it will bounce all over and be impossible to stop. Its extremely flexible and elastic body makes it bounce continuously, anytime, anywhere. Togepi, fairy type. The shell seems to be filled with joy. It is said that it will share good luck when treated kindly. A proverb claims that happiness will come to anyone who can make a sleeping Togepi stand up. Togetic, fairy flying type. They say that it will appear before kind-hearted, caring people and shower them with happiness. It grows dispirited if it is not with kind people. It can float in mid-air without moving its wings. Natu, psychic flying type. Because its wings aren't yet fully grown, it has to hop to get around. It is always staring at something. It usually forages for food on the ground, but may, on rare occasions, hop onto branches to peck at shoots. Xatu, psychic flying type. They say that it stays still and quiet because it is seeing both the past and the future at the same time. In South America, it is said that its right eye sees the future and the left eye sees the past. Mareep, electric type. If static electricity builds in its body, its fleece doubles in volume. Touching it will shock you. Its fleece grows continuously. In the summer, the fleece will shed, but grows back in about a week. Fluffy, electric type. As a result of storing too much electricity, it develops patches where even downy wool won't grow. Its fluffy fleece easily stores electricity. Its rubbery hide keeps it from being electrocuted. Ampharos, electric type. The tail's tip shines brightly and can be seen from far away. It acts as a beacon for lost people. The bright tail can be seen from far, far away. It has been treasured since ancient times as a beacon. Blossom, grass type. Blossom gather at times and appear to dance. They say that the dance is a ritual to summon the sun. Plentiful in the tropics, when it dances, its petals rub together and make a pleasant ringing sound. Maril, water fairy type. The tip of its tail, which contains oil that is lighter than water, lets it swim without drowning. The end of its tail serves as a buoy that keeps it from drowning, even in a vicious current. Azumarill, water fairy type. By keeping still and listening intently, it can tell what is in even wild, fast-moving rivers. When it plays in water, it rolls up its elongated ears to prevent their insides from getting wet. Sudowoodo, rock type. Although it always pretends to be a tree, its composition appears to be closer to a rock than a plant. It disguises itself as a tree to avoid attack. It hates water, so it will disappear if it starts raining. Politoad, water type. If Poliwag and Poliwhirl hear its echoing cry, they respond by gathering from far and wide. Whenever 3 or more of these get together, they sing in a loud voice that sounds like bellowing. Hoppip, grass flying type. To keep from being blown away by the wind, they gather in clusters. They do enjoy gentle breezes, though. Its body is so light, it must grip the ground firmly with its feet to keep from being blown away. Skiploom, grass flying type. The bloom on the top of its head opens and closes as the temperature fluctuates up and down. It spreads its petals to absorb sunlight. It also floats in the air to get closer to the sun. Jumpluff, grass flying type. Once it catches the wind, it deftly controls its cotton puff spores to float even around the world. Drifts on seasonal winds and spreads its cotton-like spores all over the world to make more offspring. Apom, normal type. Its tail is so powerful that it can use it to grab a tree branch and hold itself up in the air. It lives atop tall trees. When leaping from branch to branch, it deftly uses its tail for balance. Sunkern, grass type. It may drop out of the sky suddenly. If attacked by a Spearow, it will violently shake its leaves. It lives by drinking only dewdrops from under the leaves of plants. It is said that it eats nothing else. Sunflora, grass type. It converts sunlight to energy. In the darkness after sunset, it closes its petals and becomes still. In the daytime, it rushes about in a hectic manner, but it comes to a complete stop once the sun sets. Yanma, flaps its wings really fast, it can generate shockwaves that will shatter windows in the area. Its large eyes can scan 360 degrees. It looks in all directions to seek out insects as its prey. Wooper, water ground type. This Pokemon lives in cold water. It will leave the water to search for food when it gets cold outside. When it walks around on the ground, it coats its body with a slimy, poisonous film. Quagsire, water ground type. This carefree Pokemon has an easygoing nature. While swimming, it always bumps into boat hulls. Due to its relaxed and carefree attitude, it often bumps its head on boulders and boats as it swims. Espeon, psychic type. It uses the fine hair that covers its body to sense air currents and predict its enemies' actions. By reading air currents, it can predict things such as the weather or its foe's next move. Umbreon, dark type. When agitated, this Pokemon protects itself by spraying poisonous sweat from its pores. When darkness falls, the rings on its body begin to glow, striking fear into the hearts of anyone nearby. Murkrow, dark flying type. Feared and loathed by many, it is believed to bring misfortune to all those who see it at night. It is said that when chased, it lures its attacker onto dark mountain trails where the foe will get lost. Slowking, water psychic type. It has incredible intellect and intuition. Whatever the situation, it remains calm and collected. When its head was bitten, toxins entered Slowpoke's head and unlocked an extraordinary power. Mischievous, ghost type. It likes playing mischievous tricks such as screaming and wailing to startle people at night. It loves to bite and yank people's hair from behind without warning, just to see their shocked reactions. Unknown, psychic type. Their shapes look like the hieroglyphs on ancient tablets. It is said that the two are somehow related. Its flat, thin body is always stuck on walls. Its shape appears to have some meaning. Wobbuffet, psychic type. It hates light and shock. If attacked, it inflates its body to pump up its counter-strike. To keep its pitch-black tail hidden, it lives quietly in the darkness. It is never first to attack. Girafarig, normal psychic type. Its tail has a small brain of its own. Beware, if you get too close, it may react to your scent and bite. Its tail, which also contains a small brain, may bite on its own if it notices an alluring smell. Pineco, bug type. It likes to additional weight doesn't bother it. It hangs and waits for flying insect prey to come near. It does not move about much on its own. For a dress, bug steel type. Its entire body is shielded by steel hard shell. What lurks inside the armor is a total mystery. It remains immovably rooted to its tree. It scatters pieces of its hard shell to drive its enemies away. Dunsparce, normal type. When spotted, this Pokemon escapes backward by furiously boring into the ground with its tail. If spotted, it escapes by burrowing with its tail. It can float just slightly by using its wings. Gligar, ground flying type. It flies straight at its target's face and then clamps down on the startled victim to inject poison. It usually clings to cliffs. When it spots its prey, it spreads its wings and glides down to attack. Steelix, steel ground type. Its body has been compressed deep under the ground. As a result, it is even harder than diamond. It is said that if an onyx lives for over 100 years, its composition changes to become diamond-like. Snubbull, fairy type. Although it looks frightening, it is actually kind and affectionate. It is very popular among women. It has an active, playful nature. Many women like to frolic with it because of its affectionate ways. Granbull, fairy type. It is actually timid and easily spooked. If attacked, it flails about to fend off its attacker. Because its fangs are too heavy, it always keeps its head tilted down. However, its bite is powerful. Quillfish, water poison type. To fire its poison spikes, it must inflate its body by drinking over 2.6 gallons of water all at once. The small spikes covering its body develop from scales. They inject a toxin that causes fainting. Scizor, bug steel type. It swings its eye-patterned pincers up to scare its foes. This makes it look like it has 3 heads. Its wings are not used for flying. They are flapped at high speed to adjust its body temperature. Shuckle, bug rock type. The berries it stores in its vase-like shell decompose and become a gooey liquid. It stores berries inside its shell. To avoid attacks, it hides beneath rocks and remains completely still. Heracross, bug fighting type. This powerful Pokemon thrusts its prized horn under its enemies' bellies and then lifts to throw them. Usually docile, but if disturbed while sipping honey, it chases off the intruder with its horn. Sneasel, dark ice type. Its paws fangs conceal sharp claws. If attacked, it suddenly extends the claws and startles its enemy. Vicious in nature, it drives Pidgey from their nests and feeds on the eggs that are left behind. Teddiursa, normal type. If it finds honey, its crescent mark glows. It always licks its paws because they are soaked with honey. Before food becomes scarce in the wintertime, its habit is to hoard food in many hidden locations. Ursaring, normal type. Although it is a good climber, it prefers to snap trees with its forelegs and eat the fallen berries. With its ability to distinguish any aroma, it unfailingly finds all food buried deep underground. Slugma, fire type. It never sleeps. It has to keep moving, because if it stopped, its magma body would cool and harden. A common sight in volcanic areas, it slowly slithers around in a constant search for warm places. Magcargo, fire rock type. The shell on its back is just skin that has cooled and hardened. It breaks easily with a slight touch. Its brittle shell occasionally spouts intense flames that circulate throughout its body. Swinub, ice ground type. It rubs its snout on the ground to find and dig up food. It sometimes discovers hot springs. If it smells something enticing, it dashes headlong off to find the source of the aroma. Pillow swine, ice ground type. Because the long hair all over its body obscures its sight, it just keeps charging repeatedly. If it charges at an enemy, the hairs on its back stand up straight. It is very sensitive to sound. Corsola, rock water type. It continuously sheds and grows. The tip of its head is prized as a treasure for its beauty. In a South Sea nation, the people live in communities that are built on groups of these Pokemon. Remoraid, water type. It has superb accuracy. The water it shoots out can strike even moving prey from more than 300 feet. Using its dorsal fin as a suction pad, it clings to a mantine's underside to scavenge for leftovers. Octillery, water type. It traps enemies with its suction cup tentacles, then smashes them with a rock-hard head. It instinctively sneaks into rocky holes. If it gets sleepy, it steals the nest of fellow Octillery. Delibird, ice flying type. It carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who are saved by the food it had. It nests at the edge of sharp cliffs. It spends all day carrying food to its awaiting chicks. Mantine, water flying type. As it majestically swims, it doesn't care if Remoraid attach to it for scavenging its leftovers. Swimming freely in open seas, it may fly out of the water and over the waves if it builds up enough speed. Skarmory, steel flying type. Its sturdy wings look heavy, but they are actually hollow and light, allowing it to fly freely in the sky. After nesting in bramble bushes, the wings of its chicks grow hard from scratches by thorns. Houndour, dark fire type. It uses different kinds of cries for communicating with others of its kind and for pursuing its prey. To corner their prey, they check each other's location by using barks that they can only understand. Houndoom, dark fire type. If you are burned by the flames it shoots from its mouth, the pain will never go away. Upon hearing its eerie howls, other Pokemon get the shivers and head straight back to their nests. Kingdra, water dragon type. It is said that it usually hides in underwater caves. It can create whirlpools by yawning. It sleeps deep on the ocean floor to build its energy, and it is said to cause tornadoes as it wakes. Fanfi, ground type. It swings its long snout around playfully, but because it is so strong, that can be dangerous. As a sign of affection, it bumps with its snout. However, it is so strong that it may send you flying. Donphan, ground type. It has sharp, hard tusks and a rugged hide. Its tackle is strong enough to knock down a house. The longer and bigger its tusks, the higher its rank in the herd. The tusks take long to grow. Porygon 2, normal type. This upgraded version of Porygon is designed for space exploration. It can't fly though. Further research enhanced its abilities. Sometimes it may exhibit motions that were not programmed. Stantler, normal type. The curved antlers subtly change the flow of air to create a strong space where reality is distorted. Those who stare at its antlers will gradually lose control of their senses and be unable to stand. Smeargle, normal type. A special fluid oozes from the tip of its tail. It paints the fluid everywhere to mark its territory. Once it becomes an adult, it has the tendency to let its comrades plant footprints on its back. Tyrogue, fighting type. It is always bursting with energy. To make itself stronger, it keeps on fighting, even if it loses. Even though it is small, it can't be ignored, because it will slug any handy target without warning. Hitmontop, fighting type. If you become enchanted by its smooth, elegant, dance-like kicks, you may get drilled hard. It launches kicks while spinning. If it spins at high speed, it may bore its way into the ground. Smoochum, ice psychic type. Its lips are the most sensitive parts on its body. It always uses its lips first to examine things. It always rocks its head slowly, backwards and forwards, as if it is trying to kiss someone. Elekid, electric type. It rotates its arms to generate electricity, but it tires easily, so it charges up only a little bit. Even in the most vicious storm, this Pokemon plays happily if thunder rumbles in the sky. Magpie, fire type. Each and every time it inhales and exhales, hot embers dribble out of its mouth and nostrils. It is found in volcanic craters. Its body temperature is over 1100 degrees, so don't underestimate it. Miltank, normal type. Its milk is packed with nutrition, making it the ultimate beverage for the sick and weary. If it has just had a baby, the milk it produces contains much more nutrition than usual. Blissey, normal type. Anyone who takes even one bite of Blissey's egg becomes unfailingly caring and pleasant to everyone. It has a very compassionate nature. If it sees a sick Pokemon, it will nurse the sufferer back to health. Raikou, electric type. The rain clouds it carries let it fire thunderbolts at will. They say that it descended with lightning. A Pokemon that races across the land while barking a cry that sounds like crashing thunder. Entei, fire type. Volcanoes erupt when it barks. Unable to restrain its extreme power, it races headlong along the land. A Pokemon that races across the land. It is said that one is born every time a new volcano appears. Suicune, water type. Said to be the reincarnation of north winds, it can instantly purify filthy, murky water. This Pokemon races across the land. It is said the north winds will somehow blow whenever it appears. Larvitar, rock ground type. It feeds on soil. After it has eaten a large mountain, it will fall asleep so it can grow. It is born deep underground. It can't emerge until it has entirely consumed the soil around it. Pupitar, rock ground type. Its shell is as hard as sheet rock, and it is very strong. Its thrashing can topple a mountain. Even when sealed in its shell, it can move freely. Hard and fast, it has outstanding destructive power. Tyranitar, rock dark type. Its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack, so it is very eager to make challenges against enemies. Extremely strong, it can change the landscape. It has an insolent nature that makes it not care about others. Lugia, psychic flying type. It is said that it quietly spends its time deep at the bottom of the sea because its powers are too strong. It is said to be the guardian of the seas. It is rumoured to have been seen on the night of a storm. Ho-Oh, fire flying type. Legends claim this Pokemon flies the world's skies continuously on its magnificent 7-coloured wings. A legend says that its body glows in 7 colours. A rainbow is said to form behind it when it flies. Celebi, psychic grass type. This Pokemon wanders across time. Grass and trees flourish in the forests in which it has appeared. When Celebi disappears deep in a forest, it is said to leave behind an egg that it has brought from the future.